Very good afternoon, all the viewers. Hope you all are doing good. May blessings be upon you. Welcome to Commerce class, second year. This is our sixth class. In the last 5 classes, we have completed depreciation and accounts for NPO. Okay, today we are going to start partnership. This chapter, partnership, in intermediate examination is having a weightage of 20 plus 2 plus 2. That is totally, you will be able to pocket 24 marks if you get perfection in this chapter. And this chapter, partnership accounts, is divided into 3 parts, sorry. First one is partnership accounts, where you'll learn the introduction of partnership and preparing final accounts of a partnership firm. Then we have admission of a partner, and then retirement and death of a partner. Retirement and death of a partner. For IP syllabus, we are expected to get this. 95% of chances are that you'll get admission of a partner for 20 marks, and very favor chances, as you can see, only 5% you can get retirement of a partner. Well, this is somehow never and had not been asked all these days. So let us start with this admission of a partner. Okay. Before we actually go into admission of a partner, I'll give a brief about what partnership firm is. Okay. So all the partnership firms in India are governed by Indian Partnership Act 1932. All the partnership firms in India are governed by the provisions of Indian Partnership Act 1932. And as per this act, the definition of partnership is given in section 4. So as per section 4 of Indian Partnership Act, the definition is, it is a relationship between persons who have agreed to share the profits of a business carried on by all, or one acting for all. Right? This is the definition given in Indian Partnership Act 1932, Section 4. And again, as per the Act, the minimum number of partners you can take are 2, and the maximum number of partners as per the Act are 50. Minimum partners required to form a firm is 2, and the maximum partners what you can take is 50. Okay, so this is the definition. Now, let us go to the actual part which is expected for 20 marks, that is admission of a partner. Okay. So we are beginning admission of a partner. See, one of the very essential elements of admission of a partnership firm is that there has to be some agreement between the partners. There has to be some agreement between the partners. That agreement can be either oral or it can be a written agreement. Okay, and it is always advised that the agreement between partners should be a written agreement, because in future, if there are any discrepancies, any issues, any rift, then this document will provide the documentary evidence. This will serve as a documentary evidence. Okay, so it is always advised that the agreement between the partners should be in written form. And as I said, this is an essential feature of any of the partnership form, right? So suppose there are 2 partners. Let us say there is Mr. A and there is Mr. B. They both started a business of, let us say, electronics business in the year 2015. In the year 2015, they started by the name AB Enterprises. They started electronic business. Okay. So obviously they might have entered into an agreement, no? They might have entered into an agreement as per the features of Partnership Act. They might have written some agreement. Okay. Then in the last year, or let us say in the year 2022, they wanted to expand the business. Business ko wo bada karna cha rahe, right? So obviously when they want to expand the business, they will be in need of fund, no? They'll be in need of finances. So what is one option they have got? Let us say they are in need of, say, 20 lakhs rupees. So what is one option left for them? They can approach any bank or any NBC or any other financial institution. Okay. And they can take a loan. But then if they take a loan, they have to pay interest on that. And that loan will be an obligation. It will be a liability on the part of the firm. What is another option? They can invite somebody. They can ask somebody to join the firm as their partner. Okay, so let us say that they are asking C to join the firm. Okay, then what will happen? Now earlier, only A and B were the partners, and the agreement had names mentioned of A and B, their capital amounts, their profit sharing ratio, their rights and duties, all these things were there pertaining to only A and B. But now that C is supposed to become one of the partners, what they have to do? They simply have to cancel this agreement. They have to cancel this agreement and they have to enter into a new agreement. They have to write a new agreement. They have to write a new agreement. Okay. So when such thing is happening, we call this as reconstitution of partnership. We call it as reconstitution of partnership. That is, there are certain changes to be done when C is taken into the firm. Okay. So that is what we are going to learn. All these things we are going to learn. As I said, say A and B are partners. Since last, let us say if it is 2022, since last 7 years, they were the partners. They were working hard to bring the business to the current position where they thought of expanding business. And now C is joining them. What are the changes that are to be done? That we will learn now. Okay. Now the changes that to be learned, as I said, we call this as reconstitution of the partnership. Reconstitution of the partnership. Okay. So what are the adjustments we have to do? The very first thing is, suppose, let us say again, A and B were partners. Now they have admitted C as their partner. This is A, this is B, this is C. One very simple example I'll give. Suppose earlier they were earning a profit of 1 lakh. And let us say they were equal partners. How were they sharing the profits and ratios? They were sharing the profits and ratios equally. So if they earn a profit of 1 lakh, earlier each one was getting 50,000 and B also was getting 50,000. What was the ratio? Let us say 1:1. Now when C is admitted into the firm, obviously a part of profit has to go to C also, no? Because C is contributing some capital, C is contributing his capital, so he has to be given some share in future profits. So if suppose, let us say here A is parting with 10,000, B is also parting with 10,000, and this 20,000 is being given to C. So now A, after parting with 10,000, will be left with 40,000 only. B, after parting with 10,000, will be left with 40,000 only. So what did A and B do? A and B sacrificed their share of profit in favor of C, isn't it? So when C is admitted, the very first thing what they have to do, what we are learning is what are the changes, what are the adjustments to be done in case of admission of a partner. That is what we are learning. So the very first thing what we have to do is we have to change the profit sharing ratio. There will be a change in profit sharing ratio. If you look at the example I gave, A, B, C. After sharing with C, A was left with 40,000, B was left with 40,000, C was given 20. So if you calculate the ratio, what it would be, you see? 4:4:2, or 2 2s, 2 2s, 2 1s. 2:2:1. This will be the new profit sharing ratio. Earlier, what was their share? I said it was 1:1. Earlier, the profit sharing ratio of A and B was 1:1. But now, after the admission of the new partner, the new profit sharing ratio is 2:2:1. So what is the first step, or what is the first adjustment that we have to do when any partner is admitted? It is change in profit sharing ratio. Hope this is clear. We expect a 2 marker on this. I assure you, we are going to get definitely 1 2 marker on this. What is it? Calculation of NPSR. What will be the question? How to calculate the new profit sharing ratio? That will be the question. So we'll do better one thing. We'll take one small example and do it. Okay. So I'm taking one example and we are going to calculate what would be the new profit sharing ratio. Okay. Let us say there are 2 partners, A and B, sharing profit and losses in the ratio 3:2. Okay, this ratio we call it as old profit sharing ratio. Let us call it as OPSR. And they admitted C is admitted for say 1/5 share. C is admitted for 1/5 share to calculate the new profit sharing ratio. Hope the question is very simple and you can expect this in exam. Okay, the similar pattern question you can expect in exam. What is the information given? Old profit sharing ratio is given and the share given to new partner is given and is asking us to calculate new profit sharing ratio. Okay, so let us see how do we do that. Now, what is OPSR? Old profit sharing ratio between A and B is 3:2. So let us solve it this way. Let the total share, let the total share of the firm is, let us say, is at 1. Let us take this as 1. Then what is the share we are giving to C? Share of C is 1 by 5. Okay, so what will be the remaining share left for old partners? Remaining share. Remaining share is 1 minus 1 by 5. Like, see, suppose there is a chapati, okay, and this has to be distributed. Let us say there are two partners, only A and B. Each one was getting half half. Each one was eating half half. But now there is another partner admitted, let us say C, and he also has to be given a share. So first we have to see what is the share given to him. Say we are giving, suppose 1 by 4 share to him. Then what is the leftover portion? It is 3 by 4. So this 3 by 4 now will be distributed between A and B in their old profit sharing ratio. Okay, so here also, old profit sharing ratio between A and B is 3:2. So how do we do the solution? We assume that the total profit of the firm is 1. Share of C is 1/5. Remaining share 1 minus 1 by 5. Simply do a trick. 5 minus 1. It is 4 by 5. So what is the remaining share? It is 4 by 5. Suppose I take 1 minus 1 by 6. What will be the remaining share? As I said, 6 minus 1, 5. So the remaining share would be 5 minus 6. Suppose we have 1 minus 1 by 3. What will do? 1 minus, 3 minus 2, 3 minus 1, it is 2. So 2 by 3 will be the remaining share. That is directly you can do it without, taking out LCM and all that. So here, I guess you understood it. 1 minus 1 by 5. What will do? 5 minus 1, 4 divided by 5. Now we are left with 4 by 5, which is to be distributed between A and B in the ratio 3:2. Okay, so what will be the share of A now? What will be the share of A? So A share will be share of A is equal to, what is the leftover share? 4 by 5. What was his old proportion? 3:2 यानी A का share 3 by 5 था, B का share 2 by 5 था. सर ये 5 कैसा आया? 3 plus 2. Okay, 3 plus 2. So what was A share? 3 by 2. What was B share? 2 by 5. So share of A is 4 by 5 into 3 by 5. ये कैसे आया? This one. Now, 4 3s are 12, 5 5s are 25. So this would be the share of A in the new form. Similarly, share of B, that would be, remaining share was 4 by 5. And what was B's old share? 2 by 5. So into 2 by 5. That is 2 4s are 8, by 5 5s are 25. So if you present it like this, A is 2, B is to C. What is A share now? 12 by 25. What is B share? 8 by 25. And what is C share we have given? 1 by 5. See here. Denominator should always be equal here. So if you take denominator as 25 for C share, what we have to do is multiply and divide with 5. What am I doing? ये जो 5 है, इसको मैं 25 बनाना चाह रहा हूं, क्योंकि सभी का डिनोमिनेटर जो है सेम होना चाहिए. जैसे इसका 25, इसका 25 है, तो ये भी 25 होना चाहिए. So what I am trying to do is get this 5 denominator as 25. So now what it will be, you see, 12 by 25 for A, 8 by 25 for B, and 1 5 is 5 by 25 for C. So remove the denominators. A is to B is to C is 12 is to 8 is to 5. I again repeat, 2 marks sure question you'll get like this. Calculate NPSR is a 100% sure question you can see. Okay, hope you understood it. We'll take one more question. Okay, we'll take one more question. Let us say X and Y are partners. X and Y are partners in a firm sharing profits equally. Sharing profits equally. Equally in the sense 1:1. Okay. Z is admitted. Z is admitted for 1/4 share. The new partner is given 1/4 share. Calculate NPSR. Calculate NPSR. What does NPSR stands for? New profit sharing ratio. As I told you, whenever any partner is admitted, the profit sharing ratio will change from old to new. So that is what we are calculating. So what are the essential elements we need to know? OPSR is old profit sharing ratio between X and Y is 1:1. That is half to X, half to Y. Now we have Z with us. And Z share is how much? Z is given 1/4 share. So again, if I show you this example of a chapati, Z is given 1/4 share. This share we are giving to Z. How much it constitutes? It is 1/4. So what is the remaining share? This total proportion is 3/4. पहले Z को ये देने के बाद जो ये 3/4 बचा हुआ है, ये हम लोग X एंड Y में बांटेंगे 1:1 रेशियो में, जो उनका ओल्ड प्रॉफिट शेयरिंग रेशियो था. Okay, shall we put it in the form of solution? Okay then. So how do we start? Let us assume, let the total share be 1. Whenever we talk about proportion, no, the total proportion, like if you are talking about percentages, the total percentage would be 100. And whenever we are talking about proportion, let us say 1/3, 1/4, 2/4, then the total should be assumed as 1. If we are talking about percentages, 20%, 30%, then the total would be 100. And if you are talking about proportion, the total would be 1. The total amount, the total segment to be divided would be 1. So I'm taking the total share as 1. First, we should take out share of Z from this. What is the share of Z? It is 1/4. So what is the remaining share? What is the remaining share? 1 minus 1/4. Isn't it? 1 minus 1/4. I told you the short trick, no? What we have to do? 4 minus 1. It is 3. So 3/4. See here, what is the leftover portion now? 3/4. Now this 3/4 is to be divided between X and Y. Hope you are all following. Okay. So this remaining share 3/4 now is divided between X and Y. So what would be the share of X? Leftover is how much? 3/4. What was the old ratio? I said no, 1/2. So into 1/2. 3 ones are 3, 4 twos are 8. So now in the new form, A will get 3/8. And Z's share. Z share is 3/4 into 1/2. Again same, because earlier they were equal partners. So 3/8. Okay. So what will be the new profit sharing ratio between X, Y, and Z? X is to Y is to Z. What is the X new share? 3/8. What is the Y share? 3/8. What is the Z share? I said 1/4, no? What is the share we are giving to Z? It is 1/4. But then I also said that the denominator should be equal. Now tell me, 4 को अगर 8 बनाना है, तो multiply and divide with 2. So now 3/8, 3/8, 1 twos are 2, 4 twos are 8, 8, 8, 8. Remove this, eliminate it. 3:3:2. This is the new profit sharing ratio. Okay. Now we actually were discussing about what are the changes to be made when a partner is admitted. Okay, we are actually discussing the topic admission of a partner. Whenever a partner is admitted, what are the adjustments to be done in the books of account of the firm? That is what we are discussing. So as a first step, I told you, there has to be a change in profit sharing ratio, which we learned just now. Okay. You please practice from your textbook. There are numerous problems given on calculation of NPSR and 2 marks is sure. So what are the changes we do? First thing we learned just now, we do have change in profit sharing ratio. The second important changes, the second important adjustment we have to do is we have to do the revaluation of assets and liabilities. Right? Viewers, we have to do the revaluation of assets and liabilities. Now, what is this? We'll learn now. We are learning revaluation of assets and liabilities as on the date of admission of a partner. So whenever a partner is admitted, like say, normally, I'll take one small example. Suppose there is a firm between P and Q, and they have prepared a balance sheet on 31st March 2021. And this is how their balance sheet is looking like. Let us say these are the assets, these are the liabilities. Okay, their balance sheet is reflecting like this: machinery 50,000, furniture 20,000, say stock 10,000. They had cash, let us say 5,000. And this is how their balance sheet is 85,000. Very, very important topic we are discussing. All the viewers, please focus on this. This will fetch you 5 marks. If you prepare revaluation account as a part of admission of partner, you are going to get 5 marks for this. So I have drawn a balance sheet. So let us say here we have capitals of P, Q, and then we have creditors. Okay, let us say capital of P is 30,000, capital of Q is 40,000, and creditors are 15,000. So this is how our balance sheet is. As on 31st March 2021, the balance sheet of a firm where P and Q are partners is like this. And say on 5th of April, they have admitted R as a new partner. They have admitted R as a new partner. So when that new partner, though it is only 5 days time, still we have to prepare a revaluation account. Okay. And suppose the additional information given says that apart from he introducing capital and some other thing that we'll discuss later on, suppose it is given that assets and liabilities are to be revalued like machinery is depreciated at 10% and furniture at 5%. Next, stock is revalued at 16,000 and creditors waived off rupees 3,000. I am taking only those adjustments which will reflect in revaluation account. So please go through this. Okay. I am teaching you how to prepare a revaluation account. Remember, revaluation account is a nominal account. What is the nature of revaluation account? It is a nominal account. What is the rule of nominal account? Debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains. I repeat, revaluation account being prepared at the time of admission of a partner is a nominal account, and the rule that is applicable to nominal accounts is debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains. Okay, so let us have a format of revaluation account. If I am preparing a revaluation account, what is the nature of this account? I said it is a nominal account. What is the rule? Debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains. Debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains. So If there is any loss because of revaluation of asset or liabilities, we have to take it on the debit side. If there is any gain by revaluation of asset or liability, we have to take it on the credit side. Simple funda follow all of you. Revaluation account is a nominal account. If there is any loss because of revaluation of either asset or liability, it has to be shown on the debit side. And if there is any gain because of revaluation of either asset or a liability, is to be taken on the credit side. Okay, so I'll take this example and show you. Machinery is to be depreciated at 10%. My dear viewers, depreciation on machinery is a loss. It's an expense. Depreciation is a non-cash operating expense. Expenses and losses we should take on the debit side, I said revaluation account is a nominal account. All the expenses and losses are to be debited. All the gains because of revaluation of assets and liabilities are to be credited. Depreciation is a loss. So that has to be captured on the debit side. See, what is the cost of machinery? 50,000. 50,000, 10% would be how much? 5%. So let us show it on the debit side as to machinery 5,000. Sir, how did you get 5,000? 5,000 is, see this 50,000? 50,000 into 10 by 100. 10% is 50,000 into 10 by 100. That is how we calculate 5,000. Okay. So now depreciation is a loss. It is taken on the debit side. Similarly, depreciate furniture. Again, depreciation on furniture is a loss. What is the percentage given? 5%. Take it again on the debit side. To furniture. What is the book value given in the balance sheet? 20,000. So on furniture, 20,000 into 10%, it would be 2,000. Right? It would be 2,000. Then stock is revalued at 16,000. See here. Here, what is the value of stock given in our balance sheet? 16. Now, what is the value? Sorry, what is the value given in the balance sheet? It is 10. Now, after revaluation, the value is how much? 16. There is an increase in the value. Increase in the value is a loss or a gain? Yes, obviously it is a gain. I repeat, the stock given in the balance sheet is 10,000 and after revaluation, the stock is 16,000. There is an increase of 6,000. That increase we should capture on the credit side as by stock. By stock, 6,000. Hope you all are following. How am I preparing my revaluation account? I am taking all the losses due to revaluation of assets and liabilities on the debit side. I am taking all the gains due to revaluation of assets and liabilities on the credit side. Then we have creditors waived off rupees 3,000. Creditors waived off rupees 3,000. Creditor is a liability. Creditor is a liability. हम लोग कितने पैसे देना था? 15,000. लेकिन क्रेडिटर्स क्या किए? 3,000 रुपीज हमारे माफ कर दिए, वेव ऑफ कर दिए. मान लो डिस्काउंट दे दिए, तो बताओ ये हमारे लिए गेन है या लॉस है? यस, इट इज गेन. अब हमको 15,000 पे करने की जरूरत नहीं है. अब हम लोग सिर्फ 12,000 रुपए पे करेंगे. एसेट्स 3,000 का हमारा फायदा हो रहा. सो दैट वी विल शो ऑन द क्रेडिट साइड. सो आई विल टेक ऑन द क्रेडिट साइड एज बाय क्रेडिटर्स. How much? फायदा कितना हुआ? 3,000. This is how we have prepared the revaluation account. Okay. Revaluation account is a nominal account. All the expenses and losses because of revaluation of assets and liabilities are to be shown on the debit side. All the gains because of revaluation of assets and liabilities are to be shown on the credit side. This is a simple funda we follow. Now let us balance it. Let us balance this. Which side is heavy? Which side is heavy? Credit side is heavy. What is the credit side? 9,000. 9,000. Credit side is what? Gains. Gains are more than the losses. How much difference? 2,000. Right? This 2,000, we can call it as profit on revaluation. What is this? This is the profit on revaluation. profit on revaluation. I repeat here, if you see at the revaluation account, gain side is more. What do we take on the credit side? We take gains, no? Gain side is heavy. We have a gain of 9,000 and at the same time we have loss because of revaluation of 7,000. 9 minus 7, it is 2,000. This is the profit we incurred because of revaluation. And this profit on revaluation is to be distributed between P and Q in their profit sharing ratio. Let us say their profit sharing ratio is 3:2. So what is the profit? 2,000. So how much will P get? 2,000 profit into 3:2 raha. So क्या करेंगे? 3 plus 2, 5. 3 by 5, 2 by 5. So P will get how much? 5 fours are. So P will get 1,200 and Q will get 800. If you prepare only this much from the given information, you'll get 5 marks. The total partnership admission you'll get for 20 marks and revaluation account carries 5 marks for that. Go through once, please. We will prepare a standard format for revaluation now. This was with the example. I'll make you understand by making a standard format how to remember revaluation account. How to remember revaluation account. That is what we are learning. Revaluation account is a nominal account. All the losses are debited. All the gains are credited, right? Losses on the debit side, gains on the credit side. Now, losses or gains because of revaluation of assets and liabilities, I told you. Suppose there is a decrease in the value of asset. What is it? Yes, it is a loss. So if there is a fall in the value of asset, we should take on the debit side. If there is a decrease in the value of asset that tends to a loss to the firm, should be taken on the debit side. If there is an increase in the value of asset, हमारे assets की value बढ़ रही, तो हमारे लिए तो फायदा हो रहा. Sorry, हमारे लिए तो फायदा हो रहा. That we should take on the credit side. If there is a increase in the value of asset, take it on the credit side. Okay, I repeat, revaluation account is prepared on the lines of nominal account, debit all expenses, credit all gains. अगर एसेट का वैल्यू कम हो रहा तो हमारे लिए लॉस है, उसको हम लोग क्रेडिट साइड लेंगे, डेबिट साइड लेंगे. अगर एसेट का वैल्यू बढ़ रहा हमारे लिए गेन है, दैट विल टेक ऑन द क्रेडिट साइड. सिमिलरली, सपोज देयर इज ए इंक्रीज इन द वैल्यू ऑफ लायबिलिटी. सपोज एक लायबिलिटी है, जैसे हमारे एग्जांपल में आई टुक 15,000 का 3,000 वेव ऑफ हो गया, लायबिलिटी कम हो गया. आई हैव टेकन इट ऑन द क्रेडिट साइड because if there is a decrease in the value of liability, it is a gain. So if there is a decrease in the value of liability, that again is a gain. So we should take it on the credit side. And if there is an increase in the value of liability, that is a loss. Liability यानी obligation यानी कर्ज. अगर कर्ज हमारा बढ़ रहा तो हमारे लिए लॉस है, फर्म के लिए लॉस है, तो वो हम लोग डेबिट साइड लेंगे, राइट. सिमिलरली, इफ सपोज देयर इज अ इंक्रीज और ए न्यू लायबिलिटी, suppose there is a new liability to be recorded, that also we should take on the debit side. And if there is a new asset, एक नया asset books में हमको record करना है, so that is a gain, we take it on the credit side. This is how we prepare a revaluation account. This is a specimen format I am telling you. If you understand this conceptually, you will be able to apply the same in every problem. I repeat, losses on the debit side, gains on the credit side. जो भी नुकसान हो रहे बिजनेस में हमको because of revaluation of asset and liabilities at the time of admission of a partner, when we prepare revaluation account, when we do the revaluation of assets and liabilities, if there is any loss, that we take it on the debit side. If there is any gain, we take it on the credit side. So asset का value अगर कम हो रहा तो हमारे लिए loss है, liability की value बढ़ रही तो हमारे लिए loss है, एक नई liability अगर business में आ रही तो वो हमारे लिए loss है, we take it on the debit side. Asset की value बढ़ रही तो वो हमारे लिए gain है, take it on the credit side. Liabilities कम हो रहे, हमारे कर्जे कम हो रहे, कोई किसी को हम पैसे देना है वो माफ कर दे रहा तो हमारे लिए तो फायदा है, तो वी टेक इट ऑन द क्रेडिट साइड. और कोई नया एसेट रिकॉर्ड करना है तो अगेन दैट इज आल्सो अ गेन टू अस, टू द फर्म, वी टेक इट ऑन द क्रेडिट साइड. हैव अ लुक एट दिस प्लीज. Okay. Okay. So if we talk about the reconstitution of partnership, first thing what we learned was change in profit sharing ratio. We did two problems on that. How to calculate new profit sharing ratio. What is the second thing we learned? We have learned revaluation of assets and liabilities. In the further classes, you'll get to know more about this when we are solving problems. No, you'll be learning so many things about revaluation of assets and liabilities. Okay, so step 1 is done. Step 2 is done. Now let us see what is step 3. Step 3 is treatment of goodwill. Step 3 is treatment of goodwill. Sir, what is this goodwill? We have never heard about this word goodwill. So what is this goodwill? That we will learn. Goodwill has so many definitions. It is easy to describe goodwill, but it is very hard to define goodwill. So anyhow, for intermediate syllabus, it is taken in some other context. So very simple, I'll tell you. Let us go back to our first point where I said A and B are partners. They have taken into business Mr. C. Okay. One reason I told you why did they take C into firm? Because they wanted to expand the business and they were in need of finance. So C introduced 20 lakhs as his, what do we call, you remember? Capital, no? The amount invested by the partner or the amount invested by proprietor, what do we call it? We call it as capital. So the new partner is introducing 20 lakhs capital in the firm. And in our example, I have said they started a business in the year 2015 and he is joining in the business in 2022 after 7 years. And when they were getting a share of 50,000 each, after his entry, they came down to 40 lakhs. Their share came down to 40 each. And out of that, they are giving 20,000 to C, isn't it? So all these years, all these 7 years, when the business was growing, when the business was on the path of prospering, okay, he was not there with us. He was not there with A and B when they were working hard, when they were trying to establish their business in the market. Now in 2022, he is directly joining and he'll be enjoying a share in their profits, isn't it? So for that purpose, they seek some compensation. Why are they seeking compensation? Because in future profits, C has to be given a share out of the profits earned by the firm. For that, they seek some compensation. That is, C along with capital has to pay some extra amount which is called as premium. Okay, this premium is paid for A and B for their hard work what they were doing when C was not there in the firm. Right? So remember, in case of admission, when a new partner is admitted, he will introduce two things. One is capital and the other one is called as premium. One is capital, the other one is premium. Okay, for capital introduced, he will get rights on the assets of the firm. ओके सी जो कैपिटल इंट्रोड्यूस कर रहा तो उसको आगे चल के फर्म के जो भी एसेट्स रहेंगे उसके ऊपर उसके मालिकाना हक मिल जाते, उसको भी उसका भी एक हिस्सा मिल जाता, मालिकाना हक, राइट्स ऑन द एसेट्स ऑफ द फर्म. एंड फॉर दिस प्रीमियम पेड he will get rights on future profits. This premium we call it as goodwill. So from now on, I will not use the word premium, I will use the word goodwill. So whenever there is admission of a partner, he will introduce two things. One is capital, the second thing is goodwill. Why is he introducing capital? Because he wants to have rights on the assets of the business, so he's introducing capital. Why is he paying goodwill? To get rights on the future profits. This goodwill he is getting because of the share in the profits, which was earlier shared by only A and B. Now A and B are sacrificing. A और B अपने प्रॉफिट में से कुछ हिस्सा C को दे रहे, एक तरह की कुर्बानी दे रहे अपने प्रॉफिट्स में की, राइट है? तो उसके लिए he will pay this premium amount, and this premium amount belongs to A and B. This goodwill amount is to be distributed to A and B or whoever is sacrificing. Generally, both the partners will sacrifice. But suppose in this case, here I'll take this example. A said, I am not going to sacrifice. पूरे 50,000 जो मेरे मिलते थे, मेरे को पूरे 50,000 का शेयर मिलना है. But B is sacrificing 20,000. Listen, a very important thing I'm telling you. In my earlier example, both A and B were sacrificing a share in the profits. But now I said, A said, no, I'm not going to sacrifice my proportion. I'll take whatever proportion I was holding. But B went on a step ahead and said, ठीक है, 20,000 मैं sacrifice करता हूँ. Now tell me in that case, ये जो goodwill आ रहा, is it to be given to A and B? Or is it to be given only to A? Or is it to be given only to B? Then the answer is the entire amount of goodwill should go to B. Why? Because he is the one who is sacrificing. He is the one who is sharing his profit, not A. So obviously A doesn't deserve to get any share in the goodwill. So remember, goodwill is linked to what? Sacrifice. Goodwill किससे related है? Sacrifice in the share. जो भी sacrifice करेगा उसी को मिलेगा, और जो ज्यादा sacrifice करेगा उसको ज्यादा मिलेगा. अब हमारे अभी वाले एग्जाम्पल में ए कोई भी शेयर सैक्रिफाइस नहीं किया, इसीलिए सारे का सारा गुडविल हम लोग किसको देंगे? बी को देंगे. ओके ओके चलो. नाउ सो आई होप यू अंडरस्टूड द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ गुडविल. आपके लिए इतना समझना काफी है. गुडविल एक प्रीमियम अमाउंट है जो नया पार्टनर पुराने पार्टनर्स के लिए या सैक्रिफाइसिंग पार्टनर्स के लिए इंट्रोड्यूस करता है. इट्स अ प्रीमियम अमाउंट पेड बाय द न्यू पार्टनर फॉर द सैक्रिफाइसेस मेड बाय द ओल्ड पार्टनर्स. एंड रिमेंबर, व्हेनेवर गुडविल इज इंट्रोड्यूस्ड इन कैश, so sir, we'll have this different treatments we will discuss. You get, there are different. Okay, the time is running up, so I'll conclude my session here. We'll continue from here on in the next session, that is tomorrow. So I hope you all understood it. If not, you can watch it again on YouTube, and please do follow religiously. You be with us for this 21 days program. We all guarantee that you'll definitely pass with colorful marks. All the best.